Hello, the Ask Mike Show, back again. And we're all about negativity today. So, people are asking me how I deal with negativity. How do I suggest people deal with negativity, whether that's online, offline, whatever it is? Because I do get negative comments, I do get negativity on some of the stuff that I post. And a lot of people are getting the same and they ask me how best to deal with it. So I want to start off by saying that this doesn't mean that you turn into a robot. This doesn't mean that you can't feel, right? Because we're human, it does knock us, it does, we do take it in. We're not robots. So I don't want to encourage you to turn around and say, right, well, this just means I just don't feel. I just don't think, don't get emotional, and just go through the day. Some people can do that. Some people are perfectly happy to do that. They've got no issues with that at all, but other people don't. Other people do take it in. They've got no choice. And the thing to think about is how long do you stay negative? So when it knocks me, it's probably a half an hour to an hour, and then I'm back to normal. It's fine, depending on how intense it is. If it isn't very intense, it literally lasts like 5 or 10 minutes, and then it's gone, and I'm back to my old self again, if you will. But I am someone that can get quite emotional with certain things. So to say that it only lasts about 5 or 10 minutes is actually quite good for someone that can respond quite intensely to negative feedback, right? So if that's the case, you want to do a couple of things. First thing is you want to think about the person that's doing the negative thing, right? They're probably not in a good place themselves. That's what leads them to sort of want to find an outlet for that. So think about it. You're probably someone's outlet for their negativity. That's the first thing. Second thing, how important to you is that person? If it's a random stranger online, it's probably easier for you to brush that off than it is for your mother, your father, your family, your close friends. So think about the person and where they sit relative to you, right? If it's your friends, family, that's going to be a bit harder to manage, a bit harder to take than a stranger online. So if you let a stranger online send you down a negativity hole, if you will, for a week, then you've got something that you need to deal with, because they don't know you, no idea who you are. They've probably just come across you to a certain extent, and they probably make themselves feel a bit better by not making you feel good. So there are people out there that make themselves feel better by making you not feel good, right? They're kind of bullies, essentially. And there are people out there that do that because they don't feel good. Therefore, to make themselves feel good, they make other people feel bad. So if you've dealt with that, you know that it does take time. You do have to brush it off. You do have to alter the story inside your own head. You do have to understand that they probably feel better for 5 or 10 minutes. So why should you give them the time? So you've got to understand that they are no longer important. You don't want to give anybody, particularly negative people, the time of day, if you will. You don't want to give them the satisfaction of you being negative because of a comment, because of a message, because of anything that's negative. You don't want to put yourself in a space whereby you're allowing them to control how you feel. How you feel about your business, your job, your relationship, yourself, whatever the comment, whatever the negativity is about, if you change it, if you allow it, it can control how you act and control how you think. Now, again, if they're not very close to you, you've got to detach from it. Easier for some people, breathing techniques, distraction can help, thinking about something else, doing something that can help you feel good. So for me, it's music, it's talking to friends, I've got a bit of a a positivity folder, if you will, which has got all the positive comments that I get, the positive reviews that I get, testimonials from clients, the places I've been featured in. I've got my media logos. They're all there to help. Oh, I've been featured in that place. I've done this. I've got this positive feedback, this review. All those things can help me feel better when I get negative ones. So you're sort of battling negative vibes with positive vibes. Now, do you want to cut friends out completely? Do you want to cut family out completely? No, but it's a regulation exercise, if you will. You've got to consciously reduce the amount the negativity shows up. So there are certain people that I don't follow anymore. There are certain people that while they're friends, I cut them out. I don't talk to them as much. There are people that I've cut out completely because the negativity's been too frequent for me to really think this person's worth keeping around. So you've got to not just deal with it when it happens, but you've got to find ways of preventing it, of doing whatever it takes for you to not be hit by it again. So deal with it in the moment. That's fine. That's great. I always advise that. But you've got to ask yourself, if this was to happen again, what can I do? What can I do so this doesn't happen again? So those two questions make a big difference. Now, some people won't like it. Some people don't like boundaries when you set boundaries, but you've got to protect yourself. If you're someone that is their own worst critic, right? Having it externally can tip you over the edge if you're already giving it to yourself internally. If that's the case, you have to regulate both. I'm not saying it's perfectly okay to hate yourself as long as you regulate the outside world. That's not true. You've got to handle both. But in a world where the internal can be a bit more difficult than just reducing how many messages your friend sends or only checking your emails once a week or once a month and having staff deal with some of it, that's easier to do than having to spend every day dealing with the story inside your own head. So that the first way of dealing with negativity is to deal with it as it happens. The second and the longer term way, but can be a lot more beneficial, is to put things in place, put systems in place to allow it to not happen again. To ask yourself, how can I prevent this from happening again? All right. I hope that helps. Feel free to share it, tell people about the show. Loving the reviews as always. And spread the word. Tag people, share this with people that need help when dealing with negativity. And I hope you have an amazing rest of the day.